And we're live. Welcome to the Curiosity and Command podcast, supported by Kaizen Summit. In each episode, we sit down with thoughtful people to explore leadership, discipline, growth, and the ideas that shape how we live and work. And today, I'm joined by the fantastic Mr. Gaz Papworth. Good morning, my friend.
Yeah, I'm good. Very good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome, buddy. And so what I'd like to do, first of all, kick us off with a topic that you're currently working on. You're currently working on a documentary with our mutual friend, Mr. Mark Ormrod. Can you talk about the origins of that project, how it's going so far, and how you're enjoying it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking that. The documentary is going incredibly well, better than I thought, actually. I knew at the start it'll be a very slow start, but we're now building it to a point where we're getting like celebrities involved in all sorts, and I didn't expect that at all. And it's just every day there's something new building to it. It's like building blocks, and it came about because obviously I've known Mark for a bit now. I've invited him to where I live in Guernsey. He's come over. I got to know him. He's got to trust me, and vice versa. I said to him one day, I said, "Look, mate, I'd love to make a documentary on you. This is my work I can do. This is what I've done in the past." Yeah, he was happy with it. He just wanted to know more and more about like where is it going to go and my ideas and so on. So we had a call. We got it nailed in, and yeah, now it's growing, man. I'm really enjoying the process, and I'm looking forward to where it's going to go.
What have you learned most about this process? Obviously, this isn't your first documentary you've done. So, but what is it giving you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult because obviously I live in Guernsey in the Channel Islands. So for me to get to the UK to film Mark and everyone, it's quite a challenge. And obviously Mark's a very busy guy as well. So our diaries sometimes clash, but we're making it work. And yeah, I've learned so much from this one. Also just living with him as well for the under a week that I was at his house. I thought it was incredible. Just seeing how he moves around his own home and get to know his family, earning the trust from his family as well. It's a beautiful process, man. Mm.
Is there a particular angle you want to get across with this documentary? What's the outcome you're hoping?
Yeah, it's to show like resilience, really. That no matter how bad your day is, you can do it. I mean, Mark is, a guy that's such a strong character. He gets up 5 o'clock in the morning, he cracks on with his day, and it's, he's such an inspiring man. And I just want to get that message across to people that are struggling with their own mental health, the disabled community. And I don't know, just people that are just giving up on themselves, really, just to let people know, there's people worse off than you out there, and he's cracking on with it and he's doing really well. And, just a motivational documentary, really.
Why resilience in particular?
He's such a hardcore character, Mark, isn't he? Yeah, everything that he does does it 110%. And I think it's important to show people that message, really, so they can improve their own life, really, and get a bit more resilience towards their own battles in life or work or whichever direction they want to go in life. I think I answered that quite well. I'm not really good at explaining.
No, you did. You nailed it, mate. Don't worry, you're doing great. Just hanging on resilience for a moment. What does resilience mean for you?
I think it goes back to our military days. You're never knowing when your exercise is going to end. You're never going to know when your run is going to end, your tab or whatever, your yomping, whatever you want to call it. And just to keep pushing in life, I always have that mindset that you don't know when the end is. You just got to keep driving forward. Yeah, and just keep putting one step forward in life.
Where have you needed to rely on that mindset?
Obviously, my military career, which we can touch base on afterwards. but most recently, jiu-jitsu. There's been times where I've been questioning myself when I'm underneath someone who's, 30 kilos heavier than me, 120 kilo bloke. You got to dig deep, haven't you? Because you've got people watching you. It's your own pride as well. And you've got to keep pushing forward with that and show resilience. Yeah, and just keep fighting.
I've talked about this a lot. There is, in my opinion, from what I know so far, there is no better avenue for teaching self-mastery and resilience than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there are more extreme circumstances that you will face in the military, emergency services, high pressure environments, financial, restaurant industry, very high pressure situations. But they're uncontrolled situations. And there's an element of a risk with that, either financial, status, societal, etc. Whereas jiu-jitsu is a perfectly controlled environment with a live resisting opponent that wants to kill you. And no one is coming to save you. Yeah, there's people around, you've got coaches, you've got people shouting things, but you are on your own there, my Farouk. And you have got to figure it out and stay calm and find some breathing space, find a little bit of opportunity to think. There's, nothing like it. What brought you to doing jiu-jitsu in the first place?
So my background was boxing. Started in 2010. I did amateur boxing before I joined the army. Then I did my military career, and then I got company boxing, and then I went to battalion boxing. So my background's always been striking, Muay Thai as well. And I had so many fights that I broke my nose 7 times. You probably can't, well, I don't know, my nose is a bit crooked, but my nose was a lot more than that when I was serving. And when I moved back home, my partner was moaning at me saying, you're snoring all the time, horrendous. So I went to the doctors because I couldn't breathe at all from my left side. And then they checked it and they said, yeah, sure enough, your septum's like an S bend. It should be like a T. So they did an operation to fix my nose. And the doctor said to me, look, your nose was so severely damaged, it was near enough a car crash equivalent to a nose break. And so he said, look, you're going to have to knock boxing on the head. And that really hit hard for me. I was like, shit, what am I going to do now? Like, kind of thing. Because I love fighting. I love the competitive side of it and the training aspect of it and fitness. So years later, my friend introduced me to jiu-jitsu. So I started that and I was obviously awful. Still am. But yeah, I loved it, man. And there was just a side to it that it's just so beautiful, isn't it? Like it's the teamwork. There's no ego, because in boxing, there's a lot of ego. I found everybody wants to knock your head off and, so on. But with jiu-jitsu, it's not so much like that. Everyone's there to help you out on the mat, on and off the mat, and in personal life as well. Like the group that we have on my team is incredible. We do socials and all sorts. So it's beautiful, man. So yeah, that was my transition from striking to grappling.
What I'm hearing there is some ideas around identity and change of identity, A, through military service, and then also B, when you quit your identity as, or transitioned your identity as a boxer and then moved away from that. Can we go right back to the start though, and what made you start boxing in the first place?
So one of my ex-partners, her brother was into boxing. So when I got to know the guy through the family, we always did some pad work in the garden. We were awful, but it looked cool and felt cool at the time. And then we started training together, and then I transitioned from there to a gym, and then I started doing white collar boxing. Training pretty much every day, because back then I was free as I could be, no commitments or anything. I was young. And then I did my first white collar fight in a cage fight, which was good. I stopped him in the second round. And then, I just got the urge to keep going with it all, really. And I just kept going and going. And it's all good. I love it.
What did boxing teach you about you?
You're getting battered in the corner sometimes, and it finds that inner drive that you don't realize is there. It's a fight or flight mode, really, when you're getting battered in the corner. You've got someone that's obviously a lot better than you striking. You find this strength within you that keeps you going, no matter how hard it is, no matter how painful it is, how embarrassing it can be. You just got to keep pushing forward, and that's something that I kept within me throughout my military career and now my current career. When things are hard, you just got to keep going, keep pushing.
Can you reflect on some of these challenging times?
Through my boxing, you mean?
Through life, my friend.
Life. I don't know, really. I've always had a bit of drive in me to do well in life and so on. I mean, it's also come from my military background, like I say, and all sorts. But there's been times I've been in really difficult situations. First exposure to death and all sorts when I was doing charity work in Haiti when I was young. That was, that kind of set me up for military life in a way, in my own little mind way of thinking.
What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was crazy, man. I knew the earthquake happened because this is 2010 in Haiti, and the prison walls collapsed. So all the inmates were escaping. A lot of them were murderers and rapists and all sorts. And we went there. We flew in from Miami, and from the minute we touched ground, we had armed guards with us the whole time. In the back of a car, they had shotguns and all sorts. And we were going through towns, and there's people just fighting. Some people getting shot. Buildings collapsed. People under the rubble. And we're going through towns up in the mountains where cholera was quite rife. So there was people in their tents dead, and they were being sprayed with chemicals and all sorts. And we had to go and see a lady that was tragically sexually assaulted and raped in her tent by a man with a machete. So that was pretty hardcore, man. That was my first ever exposure to anything that the human can do to another person, in a difficult situation. Yeah.
Did that change your view of life and humanity?
Yeah, I'm well traveled, so even before then, I've seen the world. I've been quite lucky from a young age traveling. As a child, my dad and my mum used to take me everywhere. I have seen some crazy stuff, but that situation alone was just, kind of numbed me a bit to realize that there are people out there that are a heck of a lot worse than, the west side of sorry, not west side, our part of the world. Miami was literally 30 minutes from Haiti, and it's completely different. It's crazy. Yeah, just made me realize that there's people out there in a worse state.
Was that experience a defining moment of your life, and is that why you joined the military then after that?
I wouldn't say so, no. That was just something I always wanted to do. I wanted to do charity work, and the option came up. And I went out there self-funded. But my military career came in 2012. I originally wanted to join when I was 18, but my cousins were currently serving in Iraq and so on, and they went through some really nasty stuff, and they kind of taught me down from it, the idea of joining. And they said, look, hold fire for now, because, it's pretty nasty out there. So I did. I listened, and I joined at 25, a lot later, towards the later part of Herrick. So I joined Depot at 25, so I was the oldest in my training team, which for me, it was good. It helped me a lot because I was a lot more mature and conditioned to, like going back to Haiti and stuff. So I had that experience, and resilience and everything. So that kind of helped me push through. Yeah.
What did the experience of going through the military after that later age, you've done a few more laps than the 18, 19-year-olds that tend to join. How were you like a father figure to them moving through? How was the dynamics there through training and then joining battalion?
Yeah, I mean, in depot, a lot of them looked up to me, but a lot of them were just immature, as you probably know yourself through depot. And wean them out and get rid of them, obviously. But nah, it helped me a lot. Like the training team, the guys who I'm now friends with, they always said, I was very much mature and, the older one there, which really helped a lot. And then battalion, yeah, I wasn't so much the oldest one, quite average really. Yeah.
I'm sensing a bit of conflict when you talk about your military time. I felt something there with your cousins you were talking about. What comes up for you when you talk about your military career?
I was the unlucky one where I joined battalion while they were on Herrick. I was on camp when I joined. It was dead. I was I was with all the reserve people at the back of camp doing guard and stuff, which really pissed me off. Yeah, so if I joined a lot earlier, I would have been able to do a tour with them a lot. So I was a bit pissed off with that. Yeah, when they eventually came back from tour, they were like, "Who are you?" And I got hammered, mate. Yeah, I was getting initiated and all sorts and told to do all sorts. Yeah, so there's a bit of resentment there, but hey, we live on. Yeah, if I joined when my cousins did and when I wanted to, who knows? I could have been in a lot worse place. I could have been injured, killed, all sorts, or, mentally not right. So I kind of, it's one of them really, isn't it? Where you just don't know. But yeah, I'm glad that I did the army when I did.
Now it's in the rearview mirror. How do you feel about your time in service?
Very proud of myself for doing it for a Guernseyman. So to join the army, it's 20 times harder because you got to go to the UK all the times. You got to fly over to do all the assessments and everything. So I moved to the UK to better myself because my mum was from Newcastle. So thankfully I was based up there during my depot. But looking back, yeah, I'm really proud of myself doing it. It's made me the man who I am, because I was in and out of really boring, mundane jobs. And I was thinking to myself, this can't be my life, am I going to be stuck here doing the same shit till I'm mid-age kind of thing? And I was just like, the army is it. I was in a bad place anyway, mentally. I thought, sod it, I'm just going to go, So I did. I'm glad I did. This has made me, like I said before, the man I am today.
Do you mind talking about what kind of a bad place you were and how that showed up for you?
Yeah. Before the army, I was, I don't know, just a bit depressed, really, like not achieving my full potential. And I was really pissed off with myself. In and out of a bad relationship. Yeah, so my head was all over the spot. And then I joined. But yeah, my military career came to a halt for me in March 2017. I'm trying to hold it together. My mother passed away during service. Yeah, it was traumatic for me. Yeah, sorry, mate. Just give me a minute.
Take your time, my friend.
Yeah, so my mum was a healthy lady, lived in Newcastle. She went to bed one night and didn't wake up. She was found 4 days later by the police who booted her door in. And yeah, they found her peacefully wrapped up in bed, as you would in a fetal position, prone, snuggled up. And it was all natural causes, ischemic heart disease, so the heart just stopped beating in her sleep. She wouldn't have felt pain or anything like that, but I remember being on exercise and how we're doing some phibia sort of stuff, and I just felt this weird feeling like something wasn't right. I don't know. It just felt a bit odd in the air for me. I never felt that before, and I just was not functioning properly. I was messing up all my skills and drills. I was getting moaned at. I was like, what the hell's wrong? I just thought I'd just been a right idiot, And when we got back to camp, I was due to go on a Carter that following weekend. So my platoon commander, really nice guy, there's a few of us in our platoon about to go on the Carter. So he said, look, let's go to my house. We're going to do a barbecue and we're going to talk about, going through everything, like the TAMs, booking everything and everything you need to know for your Carter. So I was like, yeah, cool. We went there, had a barbecue. And then on the way back to camp, my father rung me up, who lives in Guernsey. He was like, can you pull over? I was like, look, mate, I can't. My mate's driving, on a motorway. What's up? He goes, just call me when you're in camp. So I pulled into camp and, I just remember it to this day. Like, I can literally tell you what color, every item of clothing my mates were wearing, everything. I can tell you who was on camp, who was on guard, the lot. It was weird. And, my dad told me and I just punched the shit out of the steering wheel. And then I went upstairs and found one of my mates. I just broke down in front of him. Our platoon commander came from his home, drove down. And in my room, he said, look, mate, no, not mate, but rifleman, you can go up and see your mother if you want. So I was granted to leave straight away and the Carter was cancelled. Not that I cared back then. I was whatever. So yeah, drove up to Newcastle. It was like a 7-hour drive in traffic and it felt like a week. And I was able to go and see my mother the following day. And it's an image that I will never forget. And it broke me in half. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing and being so vulnerable. And in my opinion, and it is just an N=1 experiment, I think the more that you talk openly about these things, the more it starts to make sense for you, because those kind of things don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about the following days?
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember, it was all a blur for me, but I saw her in the chapel of rest, and like I said, an image I'll never forget. I mean, I've seen dead people before. It doesn't really faze me that too much because you haven't got that connection to them. But when it's your parent, your mother, who was an incredible woman, that really threw me off the edge. And then I saw her like days later, she had to have an autopsy to find out why she'd passed away. So that delay was about 2 months until her funeral. So then when I did go and see her in the morning of her funeral, in her coffin, obviously her body was going. So that's something I wish I kind of didn't do, the last goodbye, because that's the image that really haunts me to this day. Yeah. But we moved forward. We gave her a good service and so on. But yeah, the following, going back to battalion and merging back into soldiering again. After that, I was not in a good way. I was in my dorm room because I lived on camp full time, being from Guernsey. So I was in my room drinking alcohol a lot, not telling anybody, door locked, drinking. And then I'd still wake up. This is when I was fit. I'd wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and parade, absolutely no one bat an eyelid. And then I told my sergeant and platoon sergeant, eventually they said that I wasn't allowed to touch a weapon anymore, downgraded pretty much. And then, I went to see the mental health nurse and got the help I needed. And I did another 6 months in battalion and then they let me go. But I managed to do an exercise in Kenya during that time. So that kind of distracted me from all the pain that I was going through at the time. And, regained my love for squadding again, I guess. But it was time for me to leave and move forward.
were you accepting of help?
Yeah, I wanted it. I was literally crying inside for help, but I was too scared to ask his way because obviously being in the military, there's that stigma, not opening up and so on. And I was worried that if I went to the mental health nurse, that they'd just put me down all these avenues. But I'm glad I did. I opened up, and I was a proper open book to them, and told them everything. Yeah, and I got the help, and I'm glad I did. And anyone that's going through it, 100% get the help. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Acceptance is key. There is only so much you can put on a brave face, and my friend, I've been there as well. Put on your mask, play the character you think the world needs to be, but living in true integrity of yourself, that is a very freeing place to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How did you feel about your discharge?
Raw. It wasn't nice. That feeling of leaving camp for the very last time, leaving your friends who half of them I didn't get to say goodbye to them because they're busy or away. Some of them were on op shader in Iraq and stuff, so it's one of them where it was a bit like, again, not get to say goodbye to my mates. I feel like there was more that I wanted to say to everyone and so on, but yeah, it was horrendous leaving camp for the last time. As much as it pissed me off being in the army and used to hate doing all sorts sometimes, looking back, I actually loved it. I do miss squatting, as horrible as that sounds. I was good at my job. But yeah, I got on that boat and I moved back to Guernsey and had a job lined up as a prison officer for 4 years before I then grew my own Element Films. Mm.
Before we get on to the films, we've touched on it once before about identity. Can you talk about how that identity shift was for you moving from military into the prison? And obviously you still had a lot going on in between your ears at that point, and where were you?
Absolutely. So in my mindset was very much soldier. So when I joined the prison service, the banter level was completely different. So I soon quickly learned to wind that down. The dark humor, wind down quickly. The caring side of it, I had to learn to do, which was difficult because I was dealing with sex offenders and stuff who I'm strongly hate, especially now I'm a father. So I found that very difficult. Yeah, it was difficult, but I found my partner not long after I joined the prison service. So it kind of helped me, really. I had someone to talk to for the first time in a long, long time, because when my mum passed away, I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I just kept it all inside. I don't have a partner. So having my partner now was brilliant. Yeah, she helped me a lot. Still does to this day. We eventually had a kid after 3 months of being with her, and thankfully she was a good egg. So yeah, I'm still with her to this day. Yeah, like going back to the prison, it was difficult, but it eventually got through it, and my mindset changed from being a soldier to being a caring prison officer, which took me a long, long time.
What was your level of self-awareness like through those 4 years?
In what way can you elaborate that? Sorry.
Were you present in the way that you were feeling and showing up for yourself at work? Or were you still trying to come to terms with your own grief?
Yeah, I was battling it inside my head, but it was a lot easier because I was on home territory, back where I was born. So that did help me being around my friends and family again, and my partner, my father, who lives in the island. But I was battling with it. Yeah, I've always wanted to make a documentary, being good at filming. So I thought I'll put the two together. So I used my own experiences from mental health to produce my first ever featured documentary called Man Down, which is purely on male mental health. So I used my own experience and pain to help others. So I was interviewing, at first it was just going to be a 10-minute film to put on Facebook. I managed to find a few guys who had some really deep stories. We eventually realized, right, this is actually going to be a feature film because these stories are so powerful. It needs to be seen by a wider audience on a cinema screen, so to speak, but we never went that far. It went to theatre and so on. Yeah, and that documentary helped so many people. I was very lucky because I always wanted a narrator to do my documentary. So I don't know if you know Sean Dooley from SAS, Who Dares Wins, the guy who narrates the show. He's got that really husky voice. I emailed him. I said, look, I'm doing this documentary. Would you be up for narrating the film? And he goes, yeah, fine. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. So we spoke on video call and told him what I wanted, and he narrated the film. And I think that really helped as well, bring that film to life. And it turned out the film was like 45 minutes long, and it helped so many people. I'm still sometimes now get people mentioning the film. People email me sometimes saying, thank you so much. It's on YouTube. You know, that film kind of helped me save my life. Yeah, it got sold out. 4 screenings. Every show was 200 people. So yeah, it was crazy. I was going around the UK playing it for Specsavers in front of them, all their staff members and all sorts. It was great. Yeah.
You mentioned there twice, it helped loads of other people. Did it help you?
It did. Yeah, it did. It was kind of like ripping the plaster off and accepting that I'm not alone. Like, there's other people out there going through the same. Because I don't know, it was weird. When my mum passed away, that was my first time I really experienced mental health. The head was not in the right place. So when I was doing my documentary and people opening up to me, hearing those stories, it was therapeutic for myself, which I needed. And that's what kept me going forward with the documentary, because every person that spoke was like a dose of treatment, so to speak.
How did you cope with carrying other people's trauma? Were you able to drop it off, or did you find yourself putting it in your day sack and carrying it with you? What was your process there for looking after yourself through that?
Yeah. So I've been asked that question quite a lot, especially on live radio and stuff. Yeah. Surprising, I managed to compartmentalize it. I think that's the word. Put it to the back of my head, but they also at the same time use that to help myself. A lot of people said, like, how do you deal with all these stories? I don't know. I just managed to carry it in such a way that it didn't really affect me. If anything, it helped me. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that happened.
Was this a creative outlet for you? Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, it gave people the opportunity to see what I was capable of. I mean, looking back now, the film was questionably filmed. I'll do it again a lot better. Now I've got more equipment and so on. But the film itself, yeah, it helped a lot of people, and it gave me an opportunity to really show what I'm capable of. Also, my professional side to it. So me organizing everything professionally. So getting people involved, organizing companies to sponsor it and all sorts. It gave me an opportunity to do something that I've never really had experience before. So that has given me a sense of confidence as well going forward, which is now helping me in this documentary, because I know I've done it before. Now I know I can do it much better.
Did that documentary help to change your self-image?
Yeah. People know me now as like the guy that does documentaries and films. So yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Your self-image, though, the way that you view yourself and talk about yourself, did that help?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I've learned that I'm more open now talking about mental health and so on, because I understand it and I've been there. And if I've had people come up to me, my friends, even recently, talk to me about their own mental health. And I think it's a strength of mine that I'm very grateful I have. I'll offer my ear to anybody that's going through any sort of trauma or anything like that. Unfortunately, I've lost 7 friends from suicide since I've left the army. Some military, some civvy. I just wish that I could have given them that opportunity. But, you don't know what's going through someone's head half the time. But it's important that people do open up and talk. And, it's a strength of mine. I like to talk. So I just wished other people could do the same.
Have you got a message to anyone that is struggling that may not be talking?
It's always hard, isn't it? People think they're a burden to other people with their own thoughts or problems, when really it's not like that. On the grand scheme of things, you can walk through the street and you can walk past 10 people who are probably going through the exact same thing as you. People just don't talk. So I think, especially now, these days, it's acceptable and normal to talk, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I think people just need to find someone they trust, find someone to listen to in a space where they can comfortably talk, know that they're trusted, the person they're speaking to, and unload, because unloading your thoughts and everything in your head will help. It's like what's it called? Pressure cooker. The more it fills up, at the end it's just going to explode. The lid's going to fly off. And that's the same way mental health is, really. The more people realize that if you can talk, that pressure is going to come down, and so on. So yeah, it's important to talk.
There's a lot of talk at the moment around particularly male suicide. What are we not doing that we should be doing?
I think, most recently, my group of friends, one of my friends, I won't mention who, but he's going for a really difficult time. And my friendship group, we don't really talk about stuff, really. I do, but a lot of them don't. And because of my friends going through this bad time in his life, it's made my friendship group realize we do need to talk. So now we're doing more things, like we're meeting up, we're going for walks, we're doing swimming, sea swimming activities, just to break that barrier of not talking. I think people need to get outside, fresh air, get out in the nature, where they can have a clear headspace, and talk to someone, join a club, join jiu-jitsu, because that is incredible. So when your mind's chaotic out here, when you're on the mats, it's clear. There's nothing else you're thinking about other than your next move or protecting your body from submissions and so on, which you know yourself. For me, jiu-jitsu is a great way of dealing with mental health and any stresses that we have in life.
Why do you think mental health and suicide is so prevalent these days? I'm not saying that it hasn't always been, but that pressure cooker analogy resonated with me. It does feel like there is more and more. And I do think this trajectory doesn't seem to be flattening out.
I don't think the whole way the world is at the minute, social media, everyone's comparing each other to, on Instagram, you look at a picture and you think, oh, why don't I look like that? When that person's probably photoshopped their face or body, whatever. Everyone's trying to compete, I think, at the minute, and everyone's finding the struggle at the minute with life, cost of living, pressure with family and all sorts. It's a very challenging time at the minute to live at the minute, I find. Yeah, that's my thought on it, really. It's just a really difficult time for people at the minute.
Yeah, we're in a hyper-connected world because of the internet has opened up the world, but it's also given people an opportunity to go and hide from the world.
Exactly.
You can literally not leave your house now. You've got Deliveroo and Uber, not Uber, anything that can be brought to you. You literally don't need to leave your own four walls, and I don't think it's not a good thing for people. Guys, I want to be respectful of your time. Before I do, I want to double click on this creativity angle that you've so clearly got now. Has it always been there, and it just took, the experiences that you've gone through to pick up a camera and start trying to express yourself? Or is this an outlet that you've just had to learn as a coping mechanism?
No, it's always been there from a child. I always had a strong pull towards creativity, whether that be drawing, painting, and I was very good at those. And in school, I did very well. And then I started seeing my father had a film camera. So I remember always looking at it thinking, that's really cool. He used to always take photos of like when we were traveling and stuff. And then one day he said to me, look, have a go with my digital camera, the old school ones. So I took it out and took some really cool pictures, and I don't know, a little fire was in my belly then. At such a young age, I felt that creativity pull towards capturing beauty through photos or art or any form that you want. And I eventually was given my own camera, and then it just grew from there. And this was when I was about 15. So at that time in my life, I was into mountain biking, BMXing. Back in the day where we would stay out till the lights came on. Me and my mates used to go riding. I used to be the guy filming it, sellotaping it to my helmet and hoping it wouldn't fall off. And then, yeah, it just grew from there really. And I was always known as the guy who does the cool videos and stuff. Looking back, they're horrendous, but still, this is the early 2000s. And then I was into photography. I went traveling for a bit by myself, went to America, New York, and I was just taking street photography on my own at nighttime. Looking back, I was in some proper sketchy places like Brooklyn at nighttime. Well, I didn't really see the danger then, or any threat. Yeah, and then obviously when I joined the army, I thought I don't need this kit anymore, so I sold it all stupidly for 900 quid. And then throughout my career, I then bought a GoPro, and then eventually when I moved back to the island, I took out a business loan and bought 20K's worth of kit, and then just grew my business, my avenues really, doing videos. So it's always been there. My son, who's 7, he's pretty much like me, how I was when I was his age. So I'm now teaching him how to use a camera. I'm giving him control. He loves it. He's got his iPad. He's taking photos, and he's definitely got that passion and love for it. And he keeps saying to me, Daddy, one day we're going to be Element Films and Son. And I'm like, yeah. And yeah, I just love watching him be creative. Me and my partner both love watching him thrive and become this little mini me, basically. As he gets older, I'm going to be teaching him everything in depth. I'm going to be sitting down how to edit and so on. And not only that, he's been used to a camera 5 minutes after he was born. So I wasn't allowed to film the birth, but I filmed his whole life up until this point. When he's 18, I'm going to give him this video of his whole life. I got some incredible footage from him. First steps, the lot, all cinematic, like Hollywood style film. Yeah.
What a legacy to pass on, my friend.
Thank you.
It's really cool. Can you talk to me about your business journey then into starting Element Films? What was the catalyst to be doing that? And, as we all know, running a business is incredibly difficult, shows up in many different ways. Having gone through everything that you have done, what gave you the inspiration to start?
Yeah, so Element Films, the name for me comes from elements, because obviously I live on an island, so we've got all the elements going, the wind, sea, sun, and all sorts. So that's why I used the word element, and then films, obviously. it's hard doing a business in Guernsey because, you know, we have got about 80,000 people, but still there's a lot of competition over here. But with my drive that I have and my passion, I'm doing all right, actually. And I'm now approaching more UK businesses, especially the veteran side. I mean, that's how I got to know you guys. So yeah, all the veteran businesses I'm approaching, and I'm getting some really cool gigs in it, wherever they'll be. Yeah, we'll just see where the future takes me. With this documentary as well, who knows where it can go. And I'm sure me and Mark will do an incredible job. I mean, what I've got so far in the film, it's mind blowing. You know, I was with Jason Fox 2 weeks ago, and that interview was incredible. Got a few more people lined up. Can't say who just yet in case they fall through, but we're both working hard on it. Mark's coming to me in a couple of weeks, few weeks, I think. Yeah. And, we shall see where it goes. But this film, it's going to be incredible. And I think, Mark's going to be extremely proud of that one.
I'm sure he will, my friend. What does the future hold for you?
Who knows, mate? Who knows? I would love to be a full-time film producer, making some cool film, but there's so much competition out there. It's very saturated. It's difficult, but like I said before, I'm very driven, and if I want something, I'll always find a way of getting there and doing it. So who knows? Who knows, man? Hopefully soon my son will be joining me, so I can retire from filming, and he can carry all the kit because I will be broken back and all sorts. But who knows, man? I mean, family life is important for me, so I'm focusing as best I can on that, as well as being a business. It's difficult. It's not always easy, and there's a lot of guilt there. But hopefully, it'll pay off one day because, you know, with me doing all these extra jobs, I'm giving my family a good life. Well, I hope they see it that way. But traveling and so on, the same way that I did when I was a kid, my parents were working all day, well, just so we can have a good life. But yeah, we'll see where it goes, man.
Are you fulfilled?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I have my down days like anyone still, but, you know, as soon as I walk through the door, my kid's at my arm saying, "Daddy," you know, it makes everything worth it. All the hard work.
Perfect place to leave it there, my friend. And
cheers, man.
It was a pleasure getting to know you over the past couple of months, and thank you for being so open today. I think your story needs to be told, and the stories that you tell need to be told as well. So thank you for that, my friend.
I appreciate that. It's nice to hear that. Yeah.
You're doing all right, mate. You really are.
Cheers, bro.
Gaz, thank you very much, my friend.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it, brother.
We'll put all the links to your YouTube and everything in there, and hopefully we can raise more awareness of what you're doing, where you're at, and the projects you're working on. Gaz, you're a ledge.
Thank you.